This video will only partially be about the Delphi murders, the bridge guy, and random people being accused of being the perpetrator, not just bridge guy. A couple of things. If any of you aren't aware of it, in the city of Delphi, Indiana, 2 people lost their lives, and the information about what happened has been held back by the police force for the reasons that are actually quite useful that police forces do. And some of the information has been held back that is mysterious to anybody trying to figure out if they want to solve a case. This causes suspicion, and people having paranoia or conspiracy theories about it isn't productive, but it's not unwarranted. I've made a video complaining about this. It got a lot of views, big whoop. But someone asked me to evaluate last week or whatever a channel called the Delphi Puzzle that claimed to extract audio that was previously unavailable. Now, I'm a fan of, the most mysterious song on the internet, extracting audio, etc., trying to improve the audio for it so we can find out who actually made the song and debunking someone who's making a claim to own that song when they didn't make it. If you're not aware of it, you can optimize the way you clean up audio for vocal range stuff, vocal inflection, even down to the nationality, language type, and even the region of England the person might have lived in, or whatever country. But that will exclude enhancing the audio for the guitar, the drums, the bass, a specific keyboard, playing synthesizer music, or just the flutter of the tape. And if you do this from various ways, you are creating a completely new work. By definition, it can't even be copyright flagged at that point, except as a derivative work. And you're able to get more and more clarity and more information, including what are the words to the song. And images can be done the same way. And so can motion picture recordings. Just like this is a 2D representation of my face, but if I do this, and do one of these and one of these to the camera, it can use it to do a 3-dimensional estimate of my face and use it to grant me access to it. Even though it's derivational, even though it's basically the computer faking having data when it's only just a bunch of 2D images or a 2D audio recording, because it is a 2-dimensional type of recording, by the way, over time. And just like motion video or film can be used to build a 3D model of something to get better imaging and then use that recursively to try to clean up the image to the point that you can take a video, or more accurately a film, done in 1897 and make it into a fully realized 3D modeling that's accurate and has color, that was also derived, if you're not aware of it, from looking at the negatives at various angles, because the color information is encoded in the interference pattern in it. Exotic crap like that, all the way to, I think it looks like a chipmunk, therefore it must be Bigfoot. You can start off with really hardcore work, or Alex Jones saying it looks like an alien, and then in there somewhere are the apps written for your cell phone that do shit that we never were able to do when we were trying to figure out JFK audio recordings. There's a lot of ways of enhancing audio and video data. On the Delphi Puzzle channel, I came to the conclusion because the individual refused to produce information on, or had failed to produce information on how they did what they did and what data source it was and why it should be treated as special. I assumed until that information is provided, I'm going to assume they're in good faith producing this, because I have no reason otherwise, and I don't trust the data source. That's all. That's an opinion. But someone pointed out the channel used to be named Adelwolf or Adelwolf Hunter. That's a German origin word or name. He who is noble or of nobility for Adel, and then wolf. Adelwolf Hunter would be noble wolf hunter. It's also, Adelwolf is the name badly translated back and forth to Japanese for a music band on some website someplace that I can't find out if it was ever famous. It's also Adelwolf is a keyword. If you type it in to image search, will show you furry porn. No matter how innocent or appropriate its icon for the channel used to be, which you can see at the image at the archives below, and how it completely could be directly related to or mocking furry porn or have nothing to do with it, the person who had the channel at one point realized typing in the channel name would get them that kind of content. They decided to change it. At that point, the channel was exploring the Delphi murders and decided to change the channel name to Delphi Puzzle. Was the channel name changed to protect a person of interest that's running it, or a suspect, to muddy the investigation or misdirect? I don't believe so. I really don't, because, again, if you just type in just one part of the channel's name, you get content that would confuse or annoy people. Maybe this channel was just trolling people. After all, it's basically Furry Porn Hunter or Hunting the Furry Porners or whatever. Anyway, obviously, if you're concentrating on a specific subject and your channel name detracts from it, maybe you should change it. By the way, originally when I set up my YouTube channel, because it's based on a bunch of other stuff I did before that, a brand new website had occurred that was picked at random with a very similar spelling that did nothing but porn production. So my channel name got associated with people looking for pornography. And then the initials WAP a couple of years ago got associated with... seriously, Nikki, why'd you make that damn video? So anyway, that was another row of people making fun of me. I don't think it got me flagged. But again, I understand maybe that the person changed their channel name for a good reason. Or at least this reason, maybe. Do I believe that that individual was trying to not reveal themselves for fear of retribution? Yes, but it may be for something that you and I weren't thinking of when this question came across my desk or inbox. Adelwolf, or Adelwolf, don't image search that. Waiting. I told you. So anyway, here we go. Unless you're into just... Nicki Minaj is annoying. Anyway, let's move on. Next channel reviewing. But yeah, I'm sure the channel name was done for that reason. Next. A channel called The Devil's Hopyard, started in 2010. Got a hold of a WRTV Channel 6 Indianapolis helicopter video made 2017, apparently February 13th, and derived from this video by enhancements, not just still frames, but close-ups, converted seemingly into infrared or just colorized black and white images. Most are merely abstract shapes, open to interpretation, so we see what we may want to see. Some show what is claimed to be the actual crime scene that day, including CSI being there, the bodies, a presumed signature left by the bad guy or bridge guy, bad guy and bridge guy. Let's call it BG and leave it. It's not the BG's Andy Gibb. A plush bear. Now, I'm going to address this. Can you take motion video recording, motion film recording, motion picture recording, or a series of photos taken of an area, and then use them to derive a bunch of stuff that you can't get from any one image? The answer is yes. Just like you can look at me doing this and derive a three-dimensional model from it, or unlock my phone. Yes, and I want to point out again, you can use something that's only running on a website or an Instagram filter or on just cell phones, and depending on who wrote it, like some schmuck trying to get a college degree, it may work better than even what the cops have. The FBI has been known and is notorious for using just a whole raft of random apps that they permanently lock to where they can't have it erased by Apple on their cell phones to try to get that information. They don't care how they get the information. If it leads them in the right direction, that's good. If it leads them in the wrong direction, they stop using it. To hell with how or why it works. It isn't the enhanced for movies, but it does let you get an idea of what it might be. But they have to isolate that by saying, not admissible in evidence. Some of it is, because you can figure out, yeah, definitely does that. A very good example is what I'm going to call the Pennywise dance effect. Yes, I can do the Pennywise dance, and it freaks people out. But if you motion stabilize it based on his face or mine, my face will move around in the image and do this. This is what the boring part of it looks like. The rest of me doing the wacky dance is kind of entertaining. But if you do image stabilize it, it's taking in a video that has the pixels that are moving around like this, and then it puts it here, so it creates a fake ultra-high resolution scan. Suddenly you are, from multiple frames, forcing an image, doing image stabilization that way, if you do it right, that suddenly builds up a library of really high-resolution data because each pixel, let's say the pixel is this big, is overlapping slightly. And it's done at various times during the image and the video recording to where it works. If it's of a static scene of people dealing with bodies and looking for evidence and finding things, and it's from a camera that's rotating around the scene, if you did it that way, yes, and that's called a temporal, physiospatial, it's going to have a long string of names. If the channel, The Devil's Hopyard, tells you that's how they did it and shows you how it works with something unrelated, like taking a camera and going around in a circle pointing it at a barbecue, and then totally does that to where it literally makes a 3D, I mean, it's a static object, makes a 3D model and gives you ridiculously high resolution, like zooming in from, let's say, this side, and then using that to create this one, or at least fake it enough to be able to try to tease out more data, it's acceptable. The information, by definition, has been altered. It's not the original. I call it a faked version. Faked as in the activity. But it's still usable. Unless someone goes through the effort of explaining how they're getting these enhanced data sources, I don't trust them. And you shouldn't either. I'm not being nice about this. Don't trust that. Now we'll get to someone who showed everybody how they did it. Here we go. A channel run by a person calling herself Sunny Justice, and a similar name for her significant other, aka a criming shame, did a video explaining her method for enhancement using a mobile phone photo editing app. Is this falsely generating facial features or other elements? Is it pure genius? Or is it really doing the job? Okay. Technically, a phone image magnifying app or a lens over your screen trying to make things bigger in beginning isn't enhancing anything. Low-resolution files converted to high-resolution files, unless it's done through some other methodology, do not give you anything extra. However, this is part of the process used by this channel, according to someone posting. Now, I went through part of it, only part of it, because I skipped the part where the person's prefacing and priming us to come to a conclusion. Whether the person's doing that to manipulate us or not is not relevant. The first part of the video, if it does a long explanation, may be trying to convince you to believe something rather than deciding you should. The Delphi Puzzle channel did a lot of prefacing before presenting a half second of audio over and over again, just exactly like people trying to convince you that reverse backmasking is telling you to starve a cold and feed a fever. That's a joke from a TV show, by the way. But the point is, removing the prefacing, what was she doing? Basically pointing her cell phone at an image and doing something important. If you tilt the image slightly, this forces the camera's compression algorithm to clean up the image or make it worse. It depends on what's going on. And again, the app may do a really good job or a shitty job. It may create fake data. I can't evaluate it better than that. So, technically, you cannot use these things to do anything as far as enhancement. However, if you're filming a car driving away from you with a blurry license plate, but it gets a bunch of images while you're running, and you can knit them together, and it totally produces a image-stabilized version of it to where you can figure out what it was, if it works, it works. What's my evaluation of these channels? Only one of them showed you how they did it. It may be good or not, but at least this person's done the first step I require of everybody. How did you do this? The other two, maybe, maybe not. Ask them to do so. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Do I trust these sources? I won't, but one of them is a little better than the others. Good day.